Hey there, it's your girl again, Wanjiro Kaburu, coming to you still from my sitting room couch. I hope in future it's going to be coming to you from the studio, my studio. But for now, I'm coming to you from right here, and I hope you get the message because it's all about the message, not the place from where it's delivered. This is the Self Love series, and it's the episode 2 of our series, and we're talking about knowing yourself. I don't know if you've had a moment to look at the Behind Every Successful Person is Themselves episode, which was the first episode of this series, but I sure hope that you do watch it. Maybe it would be better that you watch it before you watch this one, but any order will do because the message will still get to you. Do you know yourself? Like, really? Do you really know yourself? Who really, truly are you? That is the pertinent question, and trust me, it's $1 million question because it's the small things beyond what we think who we are. We are who we are, you know? And to start off, I am reflecting on my book, The Power of Self Love, and one of the episodes here is Know Yourself. And I started this chapter by a quote by Dolly Parton. How many know Dolly Parton? Oh my God. How can I not know Dolly Parton? Do you know Dolly Parton? I really hope you do, especially through her music and more especially her collaborations with Kenny Rogers. Those moments when I'm in the mood for, country music. We got tonight, babe. Why don't you stay? Well, for a moment there, I was trying to be Dolly Parton, but that's not who I am. Dolly Parton said this: find out who you are and do it on purpose. Find out who you are and do it on purpose. On purpose. I'm emphasizing that because we think who we are just comes about. We think who we are is about where I was born, who I'm born of, my siblings, where I went to school, what I do for a living, my associations. Fine, you might say these things form who you are, they form part of your identity. But who are you really as an individual, as a person? Because before existing in any space, before even being someone's spouse, even after being someone's spouse, you are you as an individual. So when she says do it on purpose, it means that you need to be deliberate enough to find out who you really are. And trust me, it takes work. It takes moments of reflection. It takes moments of solitude to just dig deep, to search within, to get to know who you are. Because who you are is not on the outside. No. Sometimes we are tempted to define who we are through what people say about us, through our orientations, through the various scenarios and circumstances or education that we go through. And we are so tempted to define ourselves as such. It's all right. Those are part of things that make you. But deep down, the person you are comes as a result of your uniqueness. If you're starting to look for who you are, I direct you to look at the uniqueness. Very soon, I'll talk about finding your voice. And I'm not talking about this voice that I'm using to talk to you in this video. I'm talking about your unique value proposition. That voice, that which makes you unique, is what makes you special, and that is who you are. The mistake most of us make is listening to the noise around us and then looking at what other people are doing and who they are becoming and what they are about, and we want to get into that space. We want to get into their space. When we are Jupiter, we want to be Mars, and then the galaxy misses out on the Jupiter, and that is a very bad thing. So getting to know who you are is really, really important, and it takes work. It takes work. For me, what helped is continuously reflecting and continuously paying attention. I became very attentive to the things that really make me tick. And eventually I think I connected who I am to what I'm meant to do, the kind of purpose, finding out what I'm about, finding out my passion. What is that thing that lights fire in me? And ended up forming the part of who I am. I started running away from my uniqueness when opportunities come and I know for sure this is a gap I can fill. This is somewhere I can add value. So who you are is deep within you. What you need to do is to do the work of finding out what God has placed on the inside. I can't help but go back to God. Maybe in every episode you realize that I go back to God because first of all, as a believer, I know the source is God. And there is some existence that comes as a result of God's existence, this supernatural being. Remember, as I said, I don't know how you call your God. Mine is, the Heavenly Father. Maybe you call your God the universe, or, it's a God, or I don't know, Jah. But these supernatural being, spirit that guides us is a source of getting to understand who we really are. The being or the creator who brought us into existence is the one source of getting to understand who we really are. So staying close to that source will also help you understand who you really are and the gap that you are meant to cover in this world. Wow, it's not easy. Not kidding. Very many times you will have a lot of self-doubt when you're just at the verge of saying, Eureka, I got it. You'll start feeling, some self-doubt. Are you sure, Anjiro? This is who you are. This is what you're capable of doing. This is the value you can add. Or are you just, thinking, giving yourself too much credit, or biting too much more than you can chew and swallow and digest? And then you will have all these people around you full of critics. So many people do not want you to succeed. So many people do not really want to see that light. But there are those who need, yeah, there are those who don't want you to succeed, you to shine bright, but there is a category of people the world is waiting on. There is need for your brightness to shine. So all these things will come around, and very many times you'll find yourself doubting who you really are or what you're capable of doing. And this is what gets me to the analogy or quote by Maya Angelou. She said, I can be changed by what happens to me, but I refuse to be reduced by it. So it's all right. Allow experiences in life, the critics, especially the positive ones, the self doubt that might be a voice telling you, no, maybe this is not the direction. Allow it, fine, to channel you, to change you, but do not let it reduce you. Get to a level where you understand who you really are in such a way that you only improve, you become more. As I emphasize in the concept of my venture of infinite space, becoming more every step of the way, because becoming really is a journey. You can't say now, hey, yeah, this is me, this is all that I can be. No, it's a journey of self discovery. Every day you get to learn more when you're keen enough to learn. If you're not keen enough, a day will just go by, years will go by, you're 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, retired, dying, and you didn't really get to understand who you are and the mark you can leave on this world. So you just exist and die, and in between there's nothing. No one will ever know after you die that you even existed, you walked the face of earth, and that is a tragedy. So it is very important that we take self-awareness, getting to know who we are, what we're capable of, very, very seriously. Now, speaking of self-awareness, I was I was listening to some mentoring a few weeks ago, and I landed on a person called Benjamin Kamoye. And in the forum I was led, or he shared a link of self-awareness. They call them seven levels of self-awareness, and I found them very important. So I told myself I will amplify these seven levels of self-awareness through this video when talking about knowing yourself. So thank you, Benjamin Kamoy, for really, breaking it down, these levels, because when I was listening to your video, I could reflect on the various levels that I've gone through, or how I keep maybe falling from one level to another due to various challenges, due to self-doubt and things like that. So I hope through this video, people listening in can also go back to your video on the seven levels of awareness and get to understand themselves better. So the first level, animal level. The animal level, I mean, even in creation, we all know that the difference between us animal is, we have the power of reason, making decisions. There's some certain apex that God put us. Let us make a man with our own image. There's a certain position or placed in. But when we behave at an animal level, the lowest level is when we are clueless. We are just prone to reaction. Just the way when a cat, a dog hears a bang, the first reaction is to run. We are prone to reacting without even know why we are reacting to that, and what it is we're even reacting to in the first place. So that is the lowest level, animal level. I really hope we are not in this level. And if we are, I hope you're doing something about it. The second level is the mass level. Mass, from the word mass. Many people mob, following the crowd. You know, go, people are going left, you go left. People are going right, go right. People are saying no, you say no. People are saying yes, you say yes. You don't understand why they're even saying yes or no, going left or right in the first place. Maybe they're just walking their journey, and then you're there saying, person X or Z seems to be heading this route, and this route seems to be nice, and you just follow. So you're in the category, you're in the level of the Mars, where you just follow. You haven't taken time to really know who you are, what you want, which direction you want to take. And this is also a very dangerous level. The third level is the aspiration level. Aspiration. I aspire to be an author. I aspire to be a pilot. I aspire to run a business. And you stay there in that space of aspiration and smiling about it and feeling good about it. Sometimes you can even almost feel how it would feel like to be an author, how it would feel like to be a pilot, how it feel like to run a successful business. But the problem is, this level, you stay just at aspiration. The desires, you just stay with them, bathe in them, and do nothing about it. There is no action. So this aspiration level is good, is important. It's a level that can help you to dream, to just dream, set goals, start now having mission, vision statements, or vision boards, and creating a future you want to get to. But until you get out of this level to the fourth level of individual, where you start now expressing your uniqueness, individuality, speaking of who you really are, as I said, and that now starts to come out, you just stay in your own cocoon and dreaming and aspiring about all these things. So the fourth level is individual, the expression of your uniqueness. Getting now that to that level of starting to understand who you are, what you can do, what you are all about. Then you move to an amazing level 5 of discipline. It's amazing, but here is where the work is. Discipline. This is the fifth level, and this is where now you have to learn to create habits after you've aspired. And maybe you've gotten to the level of creating those vision boards you're talking about, purpose, vision, mission statements. And then you've started understanding who you are at the individual four level. It is at the fifth level discipline where you need to get down to creating habits that will lead you to the fulfillment of that purpose, to the achievement of that goal. And this reminds me of Jim Rohn's concept and quote on success. He says that success is not to be pursued, it is to be attracted by the person you become. Success is not pursued, it is attracted by the person you become. So, the discipline level is where you create habits that become part of you. You know, the 5 a.m. club, working out, reading a book in a month, or you start slow, you can say a book even in the first 3 months. If you haven't been a reader, you create habits that will help you get to the level you want to pursue your masters that like have been stuck for a while. It's a confession, and I've gotten back to it now. It's up to me to create a habit where maybe I can set 2 to 3 hours a day to read through research work, to try and engage people who have gone before me to guide me to walk the journey, and also looking at linking what you're doing to your purpose, not just doing something for the sake of doing it. What is the connection between what you're doing and your why? Because that now helps you make sense. So it's at the discipline level where you just become the kind of a person that attracts a success. And then number 6, experience. After now you've created these habits, you gain experience, you get to a level where you become very knowledgeable through the various activities and things you did at your disciplined stage, and become knowledgeable with no doubts about who you are, what you're capable of. And now at this level, you just continue building on your experience, on your knowledge, on your expertise, which now takes you to the 7th level of mastery. The mastery level is the epitome, and it's up here, and it's about something bigger than being recognized for who you are and what you can do. The mastery level becomes about showing up into the world and giving the world the gift of who you are without really waiting to be recognized for it, without really depending on cheerleaders, without really depending on external motivation. At the mastery level, it is you now shining bright, regardless of what anyone will say or not say, regardless of the reception out there, because you've already taken time to go through the stages and getting to be sure of who you are, what you can do, the value you can add. So you go out there, you don't wait to be given permission to step out into the world, to do that thing, to become that thing, to offer that service, to give yourself in that space that you know for sure no one can feel better than you. So this is a journey, and mostly you find yourself when you go through the process deliberately, you find yourself maybe oscillating or going around the top 3 levels. Discipline, sometimes you miss out, you start feeling lazy, and you start saying, sometimes I use when I say it's never that serious, sometimes I feel like on zero, there goes an excuse you use to just not really go slow to rest, but to just, say, must I be this? Must I do this? There are other people in this world who can do that. No, that's not what I'm talking about. You need to keep back revisiting your disciplines, the habits, creating more habits that will continue helping you become more. Remember, we said becoming is a journey, it's not a destination. So when you keep revisiting disciplines, creating habits, and all that, and continuing to become more, perfecting through experience your skills and the person that you really are, and getting more knowledge of who you are so that you know how to show up to the world. And then now at the mastery stage where you keep at it without stopping, regardless of whether you get recognized or not, of whether you get accolades or not, you just keep at it. This is when now you become this light that can no longer be ignored. You become a master in something. When people want to refer certain knowledge or certain services, certain skills, they know where to go to. Ladies and gentlemen, knowing yourself, self-awareness. is a journey. I hope you take it. And I've just remembered an interesting book I read recently, early this year. You are a badass by Jen Sincero. She's used quite an interesting style to write this book to deliver the message that you are a badass. And I was smiling throughout the book as I read it because it's yes about what she was saying, but more about how she was saying it in a very easy, nice, way. I loved her style. And there is one part she was talking about the almighty decision, the almighty decision, that big decision that we all need to make in this journey. And I felt this is something I can attach to this episode because what she shared in that book is something that can help you in the journey of getting to know who you are and then getting to the stage of showing up to the world, of bringing that unique person, unique being you are to the world. And these are the things she said. You need to want it bad. Yeah, in my book also, I remember talking about want it bad enough. You need to want it bad, and then you need to get good at it. We've talked about the levels and we're talking about creating habits and then getting experience and then mastery. You need to get good at it. And number three, eliminate the negotiation process. Some of us stay here forever. Like you've already made a decision, you already know what you need to do, but every time it's 5 a.m., for instance, you have all excuses. Oh, I have a long day. Maybe I need to relax more. It's cold. Yeah, you start negotiating within yourself and you don't get to wake up. Or now there are habits that you need to read a book a month and like, no, and a little Netflix won't hurt. And then you use the whole weekend or the whole evenings on Netflix instead of perusing and reading. You're like me, maybe saying research, wake up and research or find a mentor or if I need to get to learn how to communicate more and become a better leader, pay up and become a toastmaster. But you're there saying, I think I need this money for a project or attending all those meetings, preparing speeches. You start negotiating with yourself, and that's very dangerous. You are likely to get stuck. So if you really want to make it to getting to know you are and coming out and showing up as who you are, eliminate the negotiation process. And then number four, stick like glue. Stick like glue. Refuse to let go of the disciplines, of the habits, of the expertise, of everything you need to do to show who you are or to bring out who you are to the world. Refuse to let go. And number five, everything she ends with is love yourself. Yeah, it all goes back to loving yourself. Love yourself enough to know who you are and show up to the world and shine bright. And on these notes, I end this episode and say that we will pick from there in the next episode because the next episode will be about loving yourself. And this is it can be broad or as very few concepts or reflections as possible, but it is very central. So, ladies and gentlemen, I really hope that you take time to get to understand who you really are and not just to stay at that level. When you get to know who you are and on purpose and without letting the experiences reduce you, I hope that you get to show up to the world and be that which I always say, the gift you are meant to be to the world. The one thing, the one blessing, cover the one space that only you can cover in this world. All the best. Till next time. Bye bye.